Power play.
Phenomena.
For the win. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
I got it here. Phenomena.
With the Cruz, and he spins up and into the end zone for a touchdown. It's a power play goal.
Phenomena.
And yes, the Power Play Sports Talk Show on this Wednesday night, August the 16th. 17 and injuries.
All the injuries.
And some more
injuries.
And some more injuries.
All the
And not
injuries.
just the NFL,
No, everywhere.
MLB, everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Everywhere.
I'm
Howard.
Anthony.
Oh, hi, I'm Jared.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, man?
First time we've been on in 2 weeks. Happy belated, Howard.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
yes, happy belated.
That's why we weren't on last week. We were going to come on, but you had plans with Kim to go out for your birthday. So, by all means, go enjoy that.
I drank a whole boot.
A whole boot. Look at you.
He's a big boy.
I'm not going to how long it took me, but I drank a whole. Yeah.
Very good.
Got a lot to catch up on.
So, we got a lot to catch up on. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We normally start with baseball and Yankees, but this week we're rapidly approaching the NFL start of the season. And just like we just mentioned is all the injuries in training camp already. The biggest one, of course, being Lucky Whitehead.
Oh,
And
lucky.
There goes,
Whitehead's not so lucky.
there goes the fucking Super Bowl championship now. God.
No,
I know.
it's not. He's coming back. He might not be done for the season.
well, I mean, without Lucky Whitehead, we might be buried.
Yeah.
And that'll be a really good excuse for all the Jet fans who are in denial about what this team actually is.
Blame everything on him.
Yeah, sure. How are we supposed to win a game without Lucky Whitehead,
Well, have we actually been on the air since Quincy got hurt?
No.
No.
That's another one.
Yeah, of course
Man.
it is.
So,
Yeah.
Look, our wide receiving core is just getting decimated. Between Lucky Whitehead and Quincy, we got to rely on fucking Robbie Anderson and
My second best wide receiver on my dynasty team.
our Darius Stewart and Chad Henson and Jordan Leggett and Austin Severian Jenkins is going to lead this team in touchdowns this year.
You think so?
Who else? I mean,
He's got to have a quarter. He's got to have a
touchdowns.
quarterback.
Receiving
He's gotta-
touchdowns.
He's got to have a quarterback to throw him touchdowns.
That's true.
So,
Well, there's
I mean-
him. There's Quincy. I personally think Quincy's career is done.
Quincy Enunwa? Wow.
I think if you look into this injury, it's similar to what Peyton Manning had with the neck fusion.
Uh-huh.
But as a wide receiver, I mean, it's not worth it. I personally, I would love to see him come back as a Jets fan. If I wasn't a Jets fan, taking my biases out of it, I don't think I'd want him to come back, just for his sake.
I think he'll probably do the Regina Keene, get right back on the field next year, to be honest. That Regina Keene shit is doing like wonders for people.
I mean, I hope so. For our sake, if we could put a team around him. I mean, the free agent class for next year is insane. So if we could go out and get a couple wide receivers and put him back in the slot as that makeshift tight end receiver, then I think that'll take a lot of pressure off him. He doesn't have to worry about, crossing over the middle or anything. He'll be going against slower backs. So, yeah, I mean, that'd be nice. Blau Powell finally came back to practice today.
That's good.
Good.
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, for dynasty purposes, it's good for me.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because you just need another running back.
Never have enough, man. and then Forte is still out. I don't think Forte has actually practiced since like 2014. But
I don't know why. I don't know why Forte's still on the team. To
I
be
don't
honest,
understand that.
when we made all those cuts, why wasn't Forte one of the guys to go as well? I mean,
I don't know why they don't reach out to a team like Dallas, who
okay,
just lost their starting running back. A team like Baltimore, who lost Kenneth Dixon. You know, a team that can win at least their division. Go out, get a 5th round pick for him, and let him go and be on a contending team.
Well, he hasn't played him. He hasn't played himself, so maybe that's what's keeping teams from. Yeah,
but that's why I think Dallas is such a good fit. You can put him in Dallas. At least he'll be in a committee with McFadden and Morris and Rod Smith until Zeke comes back.
That is true.
That's true.
As far as any, go ahead.
Is McFadden the guy that's going to take the lion's shares of the carries?
They came out, I believe, yesterday, and a beat writer said that it's going to be more of a committee between him and Morris. I think Rod Smith is going to get quite a few carries too. He was a fullback, running back.
They also have Hillman, who I totally forgot that I picked up. Just like fuck it, let me see if he gets signed somewhere.
It's funny if you look at our dynasty league, the Cowboys might be the only team where the league as a whole has their entire running back core.
Yeah.
I have Rod Smith. Yeah. My dad has Zeke. Someone has McFadden. Someone has Morris. You have Hillman.
I think Mike still has Morris. Not Morris. McFadden. I think Mike still has McFadden.
So whoever does get the bulk, I mean, you got to imagine they're going to have some sort of immediate payoff if they don't do a committee. But that actually takes us right into the next thing I have written down is the Zeke suspension.
Yeah.
He appealed it today. The guy hearing the appeal is, I believe his name is Harold Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
He's also the same guy that did the Greg Hardy appeal. So, and that was reduced from 10 to 4 games.
Right.
So you have to imagine that
there's a pretty good chance you could be seeing 3 games instead of 6.
Exactly. That's what I
don't think he's seeing 6.
I think he's seeing 3. I think he's going to end up with 3, which, I mean, for fantasy purposes, still not awesome. But if he stays the 6, he ain't coming back till week 8 because the bye week is in there too.
Right. And I can't speak to what happened with Zeke. I can't, I'm not sitting here defending the guy for potentially beating his girlfriend or anything like that. But I just want to know what evidence they had on him to give him such a harsh suspension.
I don't know. It's so opposite of past suspensions that you've heard of. Like with Brady, you knew what happened. With Greg Hardy, you saw the video of him throwing this girl onto a bed full of guns. With Roethlisberger, you had testimony. And, I mean, it's weird. Like, there was no criminal action taken against him.
No.
Everything was dropped, yet he still is being suspended. I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to get into, like, the political side of it. I don't understand it. I've read the reports from the NFL.
Well, I think the political side of it matters because I don't want to get to a place where you can accuse somebody of something and it didn't fucking happen and they still get punished for it.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like the NFL is kind of tiptoeing towards that right now with the suspension. Like all I have to do is cry wolf, and again, I don't know if there was actually anything that ever happened with Zeke. I know there was a video of him like punching a DJ. There was a video of him like pulling a girl's shirt down.
Exactly.
Like,
that's the thing. This suspension is not just because of the thing with his girlfriend. This is a cumulative of all those actions.
Well, I think that they should make that clear then, because if they're going to go out there and say we're suspending him because there were accusations of violence against his girlfriend, but we really don't have any evidence, to me, that just makes the NFL look worse.
I agree. You can't have a gray area with shit like this. It has to be black and white.
Right.
On the same hand, though, someone's got to get it in this kid's ear. And, tell him
without a doubt.
What are you doing, man? Like, he's a first-round pick, so he needs to be in the league 3 more years, and he gets that big deal. But with this, if this 6-game suspension stays, and he has another offense like this, he could be, an indefinite ban.
They said. Yeah. No, they said they're going to ban him next time because they're not going to put up with this bullshit. And listen, I think that's the right I think that's the right tack to take. But I also feel like you need some evidence behind that.
Absolutely.
I don't feel like you could just go out because I feel like that puts a lot of people in a position of power over athletes where, they stand to lose more money than, people will ever understand.
Absolutely.
So if some athlete's girlfriend gets into a verbal argument with her boyfriend or husband or fiance or whatever the case, and then,
he hit me.
Yeah, claims that he hit her and he never did. I mean, that's just that really, really, that doesn't sit well with me whatsoever.
Sure. Now I have a question.
And I'm not a Cowboys fan or anything like that. Like there's no bias about that. I don't even have Zeke on my team. I mean, I could have, but yeah, I don't even want to talk about that trade. No, the thing I was going to bring up with Zeke was when he was drafted. You remember all the stuff with Ohio State?
Oh yeah.
There was like a false rape accusation.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm not totally saying that the guy's an angel and he, none of the stuff is true, because I'm just looking for some evidence. The
appeal hearing, I think, is the 29th, and I believe they have to make a decision within 10 days. But I think that might take them. No, they'll be done before week 1. So we'll have an answer before the season starts. I have a question as far as fantasy goes with him. Obviously, the three of us don't have to worry about it. My father has him. But as far as redraft goes, and now Howard, we have a redraft next week.
Tuesday.
Where do you take him?
Oh, geez. You know what? That is a very good question, because
it is.
You got to go with that. The suspension is going to be upheld to 6 games.
You have to.
And if you're looking at that, like you said, he's not coming back until week 8 because they had their bye week with 7 weeks. So you're looking
60% of the season.
Is he worth a high pick to stash him for your stretch run? Me personally, I don't think so. And considering that we're drafting on Tuesday, I think if he goes in the first round, it's on the hopes that the suspension will be dropped to 3 games at least. But if everybody's under the impression that it's still going to be at 6 and he falls and he's still available in the 6th or 7th round, then
no way.
At it being worth it. But if you're looking at probably a 1st or 2nd round pick on a guy that could potentially not be in your lineup until week 8, and the fact that there's so few games in the NFL, I'm going to say he doesn't get drafted in the 1st or 2nd round. I say he probably goes in the 3rd round to somebody who might have taken a running back already, a big-time running back, and who has probably a big-time receiver to where they can afford to stash him if he does not make it, if he doesn't win the appeal. And you look at it, and it's tough to compare the sports, but in one of my baseball leagues, I drafted David Price knowing that he would be out until mid-May, maybe June, and just to stash him, and I drafted him in the middle rounds, and it paid off for a little bit, but it's kind of the same thing. You're looking at it where, you have a guy who could be put on a PUP list or whatever it is, and they're out for a certain amount of time. You're looking at it where it's a gamble. If you want to be balls to the wall and take him in the 1st round, you know what? More power to you. And if 3-game suspension, he comes back in week 4 or whatever, then you look like a genius. But if suspension is upheld, and with everything that you read about what the NFL doesn't like about this, which is everything except the accusations of that he wasn't charged with, everything else that has gone on with him, you know what? I say I would not. Me personally, I wouldn't take him in the first 3 rounds if he was available to me in the first.
I agree to an extent. Obviously, we're going to be drafting. It's still going to be 6-game suspension by the time we draft. I will not take him in the 1st. I will not take him in the 2nd. However, and I might be tipping my hand here. Oh well, if I have an early pick, if I have a top 3 pick, and I could get someone like a Le'Veon Bell or David Johnson.
Yeah.
And then I come back around in the late 2nd and I grab a receiver. I don't know who would be there. Someone like Allen Robinson or something like that. I think about taking Zeke with that early 3rd pick. Just because, like you said, if you have someone like a Zeke and a David Johnson, a Zeke and a Le'Veon Bell, especially in a redraft league, if you're even close to the playoffs by the time Zeke comes back,
It'll put you over.
you're going in as the hottest team in the league. But at the same time, you have to know what you're doing for the rest of the draft. You have to, if you draft Zeke in the third or fourth round, or even in the first or second, you have to go in there and you have to take running backs late, someone like a Jacquizz Rodgers, who's going to be taking the place of Doug Martin while he's suspended. It doesn't necessarily have to be the person who's replacing Zeke that makes up those points for you. It could be a Bilal Powell if Matt Forte is still hurt. And then, or like I said, Jacquizz Rodgers. If Devonta Freeman still has the concussion, which we'll go over later, a Tevin Coleman. Granted, he would go a little bit earlier than those guys, but if you could do your own running back by committee until Zeke comes back, just to keep you afloat, I think that's an option. I mean, it's tough. I'm curious to see what happens next week. I think a Cowboys fan is going to get a little itchy. We're in the league with 2 Cowboys fans, so I think they might get a little trigger happy. OJ and Rufo.
Oh yeah, that's right. OJ's a Cowboys fan. I always forget that he's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I mean, I'll tip my hand with the Jim Bowl, Howard. I wouldn't touch him until the 6th.
Who?
Zeke.
Yeah, well, in Jimbo, well, listen to this. In the Jimbo, we are doing one keeper, and it's if you drafted him last year in the 6th round or later, but he had to be on your team the whole year. So I see where Anthony's going with that, to where he would get him around where you can keep him.
Sure,
I understand that. But the way the Jimbo went last year, and I showed you that draft, Jared.
Yeah.
And that's the lead that I won. You never know what's going to happen with those guys. You really don't. It's that league is someone will take him in the first round. I really do believe in that league. Someone will take him in this big redraft league.
Godspeed, then. Godspeed. That's the way I look at it.
And I'm not saying that you can't. I mean, last year Le'Veon was suspended for 2 games, and he's still winning the first 5 picks, and it certainly paid off.
That's true, but I feel like 2 games is a lot different than 7 weeks.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Especially don't get me wrong. Absolutely.
Yeah. If the 6 games holds up, and then like you mentioned, it's the bye week after that. I mean, you're talking about 50% of the season. He's not there.
Even more. Yeah, fantasy season's only 15 weeks.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right.
Well, it's 16 weeks, but they're only playing. We're only playing up to week 16. There was a big trade that the NFL conveniently saved for when they suspended Zeke, and they announced it right afterwards, with Sammy Watkins going to the Rams. At the same time, Jordan Matthews going to Buffalo. My dad was in the hospital when this happened.
Yeah.
This did not help him get out because he wasn't too happy. As far as Dynasty goes, it's tough to say because Sammy hasn't been healthy. I think it's great for Jared Goff. I think it's good for Todd Gurley. As far as just straight NFL goes, I think it's good for Watkins. He gets a change of scenery. He goes to warm weather. There's no one really else in that wide receiving core, so it's just going to be him. He's going to see double coverage. He has just about a rookie quarterback throwing him the ball.
You think this helps Tavon Austin? I think it does.
You know what? With McVay there, he was saying that he wanted to turn Tavon Austin into what Deshaun Jackson was last year for Washington. I don't think he's that type of receiver. I don't think he's a straight line receiver, but it can. I mean, if you put Tavon Austin in the slot on the same side as Watkins, that's great. You're looking at linebacker matchups with one of the shiftier guys in the league. So I think that's definitely good. I think it's good for everybody except Watkins. I think it's great for Gurley because they're not going to be able to stack the box anymore. Tavon Austin, if he's the slot or the number 2 option. They have Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett there as tight ends. So, I mean, it's good for everybody. It's great for Goff. It's great for Jared Goff. Unfortunately, what the Rams need to do is this can't be a rental, and this is Sammy's last year. So they need to lock him up before this disaster year that they have. As far as Jordan Matthews goes, this guy got hurt walking into the facility. It seemed like he chipped his sternum.
Yeah, wasn't
able to practice with the team. So that's just a string of bad luck going from a team that, the Eagles are decent. The Eagles could compete in the NFC East. To the Bills, who seem like that they're just competing with the Jets as far as tanking goes. I think it sucks for Matthews because they're going to push him out to the outside, and he's not an outside receiver. He's a slot guy. So he's going to be seeing, top tier cornerbacks. But I don't know. It was just a weird trade. I don't really understand what Buffalo's doing. They're set up real nice for the draft next year, though. They have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds. So, but if this didn't make, and then with Jay Cutler coming back, the AFC East is just a hot load of garbage right now. There's nothing going there except for the Patriots.
Patriot Invitational.
They should have no problem. Well, that's 6-0 easy against the AFC East. I still don't see them losing a game. It's not going to be good. And then just a couple of injuries. Ajayi had a concussion. He was out for 2.5 weeks. That scared me. Anthony, me and you were talking about a possible trade with that. I told you that scared me off a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then the same thing, Devonta Freeman just got a concussion too. And these are two running backs that run hard. I mean, that's got to be a little alarming. Ajayi came into the NFL with knee problems. Granted, this isn't that, but it's still an injury. Freeman, of course, had an injury his first year. Concussions are no joke, especially with running backs who run with their head down and just plow into anybody that they can. So, again, we don't have any – well, Anthony, you have Ajayi. Does it scare you?
Of course it does. The knee scares me too. That's why I was, if I would have known I could have gotten as much as was offered to me for Ajayi, I probably never would have traded Gordon, to be completely honest with you. But I feel like Gordon kind of set the market for running backs this offseason as far as our league goes. Because once I got 2 firsts for Gordon, that kind of gave everyone a bit of a point of reference of what running backs' values are in our league. You know?
Absolutely. I agree. I think with our league, because there's such a lull at the end of the year and after the trading deadline, you kind of forget where that bar is set. And it takes a big trade like yours to kind of reestablish how much players are worth. So you see someone like Gordon go for 2 firsts. DeMarco went for, well, it depends how you value Terrell Pryor and Spencer Ware. So there was like no picks involved in that. But then Devonta Freeman possibly going for whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm still kicking myself for not with that trade. You and I, Jared. I'm still kicking myself.
Yeah, when I approached you about it, and then Joe, he definitely wanted Ware, and then it was we were just going over minor things for a couple of days. We had the premise set where it was Murray and a mid pick for Ware and Pryor, and then we're just ironing out details. But I didn't even know that he was trading that guy. He approached me because I didn't make it. It was no secret that I was in the market for another big running back. Anthony, I approached you about Ajayi. I approached Gerstein about Bell and Freeman. I went to whoever I can. I was talking to Rowe. But then I always thought Joe was just looking for picks. Then he came to me and said, do you want Murray? And I said, hell yeah, I want Murray. I mean, that's a great third back for me with who do I have with Gurley and Shady. So that was a good pickup for me. I think Ajayi, I think looking back on it, I think he would have been better off trying to trade Ajayi than Gordon. But
I just didn't think I knew there would be a market for Ajayi, but I didn't think I could get a first, to be honest with you. And that's basically what I needed. I needed a first. I needed to get into the first round because, I know I made the playoffs last year, but my rebuild is nowhere near complete.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, it's tough because you don't know what your guy is. Your guy is only worth however much someone's going to pay for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, someone. True. I mean, I would have paid a first for Ajayi, but someone like Nick. Look at Nick. Nick is paying a top tier receiver and 2 firsts or trying to pay a top tier receiver and 2 firsts for Devonta Freeman. So he definitely would have paid a first for Ajayi, at least. And then another big injury. Well, I think it's a big injury, especially with our rookie draft coming up in a couple of weeks. Leonard Fournette hurt his ankle/foot, same foot that he hurt at LSU. This scares me because I'm in that top tier for rookie draft picks, and I don't think I'm going to take him at second overall because I don't want to be dealing with this shit his whole career.
Once you get a foot injury, not saying that he won't bounce back, but you always got that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I mean, players can bounce back from it. Julio, granted, he's still kind of dealing with it, but he's still arguably the best receiver in the league. And a couple other players have foot injuries, but none of them, as far as I can recall, were running backs, and none of them were running backs that weigh as much as him. That's a lot of weight to be putting down. If you're planting that foot, 240 pounds planting, trying to cut, that scares me. I don't know who my dad is taking first overall, but I am set in stone with who I'm taking second. I have no problem saying it, that I'm going to be pissing off my girlfriend when I take Joe Mixon second overall, because she knows about 3 players in football. She knows Jamal Adams because I have had his nuts all over my face since he played at LSU. And she knows Travis Kelce because he's gorgeous and he was my MVP. And she knows Joe Mixon as the guy that punched a woman. Now I'm drafting him with my rookie pick. Might get his jersey. She might light it on fire. So if you guys want to go ahead and, I don't know, plan anything around that, I am. Wow. I know my dad is not taking Mixon. I do not need to be put on the clock. I will be taking Joe Mixon with the 102.
Yeah, your father's got a wild card there, trying to figure out what he would take first overall. Not that he really needs running back, but you got Christian McCaffrey out there. Who knows?
Well,
get a big wide receiver. He doesn't need a quarterback, really.
No, not anymore. He just traded for Dak too.
Yeah, so yeah,
it's tough with him. I think the Zeke news might play a role. I think. Oh, definitely. I think if it was a toss up between wide receiver and running back, I think this kind of puts the scales in the running back favor. But I don't know which one. I mean, you have Dalvin Cook, you have Fournette, you have McCaffrey. I think those are the top tier. And then you have Corey Davis, John Ross, Mike Williams, wide receiver. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. I'm not sure. He won't tell me. He really wanted my first overall when we made that trade because he wanted his guy. So I think he's known for a while, but he will not tell me who he's taking.
It's just not Joe Mixon.
It's just not Joe Mixon. I made sure that he never liked Joe Mixon. I did. He liked Samaje Perine better because they split carries at Oklahoma. But I watched the Bengals preseason game. I went back and watched the YouTube highlights of Mixon from that preseason game, and every touch he had was just electric. It was his vision and his patience are amazing. His burst. I just hope he doesn't fuck up off the field, but that's a risk I'll take.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the same thing we're talking about with Zeke, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, granted, last year's draft was a ton weaker. I mean, everybody and their mother knew that Zeke was going first overall. So there wasn't that predicament like, should I take him even though he has these off-the-field issues, or should I let him fall because I'm scared of that? He was going to go. But, yeah, it's the same thing. And if you want to translate it to redraft, yeah, there you go. I mean, he's suspended this year. As far as dynasty goes, I think that the Mixon thing was an isolated incident. I think that his emotions got the best of him. And I hope that he learned from his mistake and he won't do that again. I don't think he's a good person. I think he's a shitty person. I think he's a great football player. And I'm not drafting my team based on, morality.
Right.
I'm based on, how much talent they have. But that's really all I got for football news and notes. There are a couple of minor injuries. Juju Smith-Schuster went down with a knee injury today. You don't know how severe it is. Rashad Perriman has a grade 2 hamstring strain. So he won't be available until at least week 1. He's not playing the rest of the preseason. Of course, Ryan Tannehill is getting surgery. So Smoking Jay Cutler came back. Gave my dad some QB depth, and honestly, I think that's good for the Dolphins wide receivers. I think it's good. I think Jay Cutler's
a better quarterback than he gets credit for. I think
he has the ability to throw downfield a lot better than Tannehill did. So
there's no doubt in my mind about that.
Maybe Landry stays about level. I think Devontae Parker, his stock goes up a little bit, and I think Kenny Stills' stock goes up a little bit. And I think there's a little boost for Ajayi too, because if the safety's got to play back with that deep ball threat, that doesn't allow a fourth linebacker to come in the box. So I think it's good for everybody except Landry.
Okay.
And Tannehill, of course.
Could this be the end of Tannehill in Miami?
You know what? I don't know what his contract situation is. If you could get that. And I know, Cutler was only signed to a 1-year deal, 1 year, $10 million. If Tannehill's contract is soon to be up, it could be. I mean, they might just be getting tired of his shit. He hasn't really done that well since he was drafted, but he was also a wide receiver in college. I mean, everybody forgets that. He was not a quarterback. So, and with next year's quarterback class, they could go ahead and draft one of them, Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen, Josh Allen.
Oh, the Dolphins you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think actually bringing Cutler in probably makes them the second best team in the AFC East.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that the Bills are terrible.
Yeah.
I think LaShawn McCoy might lead the NFL in all-purpose yards this year because there's just nobody on that team right now. No. I think they're going to throw to him. I think they're going to run him into the ground, which I'm okay with. I think he'll be close to – I think he'll have 1,000 yards rushing. I think he'll have around – I think it's going to be high. I think like 700 yards receiving. But yeah, I mean the Dolphins they have a lot better players. They have a Jarvis Landry. They have Devontae Parker, who I think is better than any receiver that the Bills have right now. They have a solid running back in Ajayi. They have a good defensive line. There's the linebacker and core and their secondary is a little suspect. But it'll be an interesting race for second, which is not going to amount to anything because there's no wild card team coming out of this division anyway.
Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
Tannehill's in the first year of that 4-year extension. So.
Oh, he's coming back. Yeah, that's okay. So Cutler's just a stopgap.
Yeah.
All right.
4
That's
years,
really
$1 million contract.
all I got with football. I don't want to take the whole show with football, considering we got the draft that we're going to try and air next week. That'll be all football.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. For sure. And I mean, as we move closer and closer to the first week of September.
Nope. Anthony. Paging Anthony.
Wow.
Oh, the Mets are winning. Good. Anthony. We lost him. What do you think he was going to say?
Peace.
Oh.
What? Anthony? Froze there for a little while, buddy.
Oh, I didn't even hear Jared. Okay, I lost Jared for some reason.
No. Well, the last we heard you say was as we reach the first week of September.
Oh, wow. Okay, I was saying as we reach the first week of September, we'll do more football with, opening week.
Sure.
Basically, 2 weeks away at this point, 3 weeks away. And we do still have a lot of baseball to do as the playoff race is heating up.
Absolutely.
For, our team and a lot of teams, really. I don't even know where to begin with baseball. It's just I guess we could start here. What does Aroldis Chapman have to do to lose his fucking job?
Die. I don't understand. I don't understand. He's not even a lefty specialist at this point. He's just a guy that throws hard with a terrible slider.
Yeah, well, I just feel like he needs to mix those pitches. Like, he comes into the game and he's either trying to blow you away with fastballs or, like last night, he's trying to paint the corner with sliders.
Yeah.
And
that's what I was talking to my dad about this, is when he comes in and if he's throwing 103, 104, he's only throwing fastballs. But if it's one of those days where he's, 99, then he's constantly throwing sliders. He never seems to throw both. Or, better yet, he never seems to have both going on. If he's throwing 103, that slider is flat. Is so flat. But if he's throwing a good slider, he's not topping the gun off. And that the fastball is just straight. People are expecting it now. It's not a surprise. People are hitting the shit out of it.
Yeah.
He sweats so much.
Yeah.
Got the fucking
he does.
I don't know why Robertson. I mean, I know Robertson is going to close tonight. If we have the opportunity, he's the best pitcher in the bullpen by a mile right now.
I feel like Betances has picked it back up. I would not go back to Betances' closer though.
No.
Last time we did that, he sat in the bullpen for 2 weeks and he pitched like once a week. I feel like you have to keep Betances settled into that eighth inning role. You have to keep him aggressive. You have to keep him where he is. Move Robertson back to the ninth. You can use Green. You can use Canely. You can use Warren. That's the beauty of this bullpen. It's ridiculously deep, and you got to utilize that. I mean, you can't keep sending Chapman out there to fucking give up the games. I mean, I realized the other night you can literally make up the deficit in the AL East with Chapman's blown saves.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Because he has 4 blown saves, and 2 of them I believe were against the Red Sox, and we're 4.5 or 3.5 games back. I think we're 3.5 games back now.
It's 4.5 because the Red Sox won yesterday.
But we won as well.
Yeah, so it's 4.
And they lost. No, but they lost Monday night. We won Monday night. I think that made it 4.5. Oh, okay.
Now the thing when you say the bullpen's ridiculously deep, I agree to an extent. If you would have told me after the trade deadline, immediately after, we have the deepest bullpen in the American League. However, with Chapman struggles, Canely has no idea where the fucking strike zone is anymore.
Yeah, right? He's had a bit of a rough transition to the Yankees for sure.
So when you look at that, then we go from, Betances and Robertson are the reliable guys. Chapman's a disaster. Canely is suspect, and then a bunch of borderline middle relievers.
But see, I feel like I can bring Canely in a 2-run game to like start an inning in the 7th or the 8th. I trust him for that. I don't trust him to come in and put a fire out.
Yeah, because I will not bring him in the middle of an inning. Absolutely,
he doesn't throw enough strikes.
No.
He does well with the running game. He pitches a lot out of basically that like just full release. Like there's no windup whatsoever to his delivery when he pitches out of the stretch. But I could trust him to be my 7th inning guy, starting with a clean inning. I think Canely.
I have him on a short leash though. I agree, but I have him on a short leash.
Yeah, because if he doesn't have it, then he can get himself
right
into trouble with the walks, without a doubt. But I feel like that's every pitcher in baseball. If they don't have their stuff and they can't throw it for strikes, then it's what we've seen a lot. We saw it with Betances earlier this year. Earlier this year, Betances was a fucking disaster, as much as Chapman was. As much as Clippard was before we shipped him off.
Yeah, I agree. But with someone like Betances and Chapman, if they're struggling when they get brought into the beginning of the inning, they're going to see it out. They're going to either blow the fucking game or they're going to get themselves out of it. With Canely, you have that opportunity that, okay, if he's struggling, he walks a batter, gives up a hit, you have first and third, you could bring in Robertson.
Yeah.
Robertson is someone who I absolutely trust with runners on.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Robertson does make a mess for himself sometimes, but we called him Houdini when he was here the first time, and it really hasn't changed much. He can work his way out of a jam. He's got a strikeout pitch. He knows how to pitch in those situations. So listen, I totally agree. I would go to Robertson to close games. Like I said, I don't want to mess with Betances. We finally got him back right, throwing strikes, being that lockdown eighth inning guy. Leave him there. Don't screw up. Don't screw up his routine again by putting him in the ninth inning. Or you know what? I mean, just go. I know this is hard to ask of Joe Girardi, but just go by your gut. If you've got if you've got Batista, Donaldson, and like Tulowitzki coming up in the ninth inning, go to Betances.
He won't do it.
No, he won't. He needs to.
We were talking about this 3 weeks ago. The last time we had our show, that he doesn't do this shit. He has a setup man, he has a closer, and then he has Robertson, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's too much of a defined role, and that's what gets everybody crazy about Girardi. Why don't he just manage more by his gut? You don't have, the Mariano Rivera in the closer role where it's going to be 99% of the time he's going to close the game out. Aroldis Chapman has been very shaky. Considering the long run that he had last year with the Cubs, winning the World Series and being used the way he was. It messed him up. And then you come back now. You had an injury this year. You saw how bad the bullpen was. Whatever it is, now like Anthony said, you got Betances finally locked in the eighth inning. You can even bring him in the seventh. Bring him in for an inning or an inning and an out or whatever. Mix and match with him and Robertson, because Robertson could go more than an inning. Sure. I have more in 2 innings than I would have Betances saving out 4 games in a week.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Just tied it up. Also.
Yeah,
so that's good.
I just saw that as well.
Wild pitches.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, Rivera's letting those pitches go.
Rivera's looking Gary Sanchez.
Real quick before we continue with the Yankees, not really a shout out because I doubt anybody's listening, but a little something I want to say. The New Jersey Little League team that made it to the Little League World Series is the Little League team that I grew up playing for.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So Holbrook Little League made it to the Little League World Series, dominating teams. I was actually on that all-star team way back when. So we were in not the regional finals. We didn't even come close because we actually lost to Todd Frazier's Tom's River team that went on to win it all. So it's cool that all this stuff is coming full circle. I know they play tomorrow at 3:00. They play the New England area team. So fuck them, those little kids. And then they play. Hopefully they win, and they play the winner of like the Great Lakes region or something. But it's exciting. There's a little bit of a buzz around here. There's a lot of my Facebook friends and everything showing some of their Holbrook Little League gear and old jerseys, saying we're part of that.
You have anything from back then?
I have a trophy that says I was on the All-Star team. I have a bunch of team photos I got to try and find. My dad was the coach. When I was on the All-Star team, I was a pitcher. Todd Frazier took me deep. It was the only home. It was the only. I remember it. It was the only home run I ever gave up.
Wow. Hold on a second. Time out. So Todd Frazier. Now, see, you never told me this. I didn't.
Knew this. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it was the only home run I ever gave up. There's
no shame in giving up a home run to a major leaguer.
No, we knew he was good. And the thing with that team is, if I remember correctly, his brother batted behind him also. He had another brother. I think his brother's name was Tommy. But it was an 0-0 count. It was the first pitch, and I always started off with a fastball. And as soon as he hit it, I said I knew it was the farthest ball I've ever seen hit off me. And he hit it over left center. We lost that game. But no one, they were killing teams. Obviously, they went on to win the Little League World Series. But that's the only home run I ever gave up. I believe I pitched well that game, not well enough. But it was cool. It was double elimination. We never got to play them again in the finals. But we won a few games. We advanced a little bit, but not far enough. Oh, well. I have a claim to fame that Todd Frazier took me yard, though, so that's fine.
I wonder if
That's
he
cool.
remember.
I know he's rooting on Holbrook. He posted something on Twitter or something about Holbrook Little League, so I know that he knows that they exist. Whether or not he remembers playing them when they won it all, maybe. I wish I could ask him. But we are the same age. I mean, I'm only about a month older than him.
Send him a Twitter.
Yeah, I could.
Remember when you played Holbrook Little League back when your team won it all? Do you remember the pitch he hit a home run off of?
Taking me deep on an 0-0 count over left center.
Wow, you
I remember exactly.
He pulled the ball too, huh?
And I threw hard. But yeah, it might be. He was all over it.
They scouted you out, Will.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh well, but yeah, we could get back onto the Yankees. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Is Travis d'Arnaud playing the infield tonight?
Yes, he is.
He's playing third base.
Yes.
Jesus Christ!
And he got the right idea, getting a different catcher behind the plate over one that sucks at fielding.
Oh.
Still need a first baseman.
I had some numbers to throw at you, but it's been like almost 2 weeks. So
still need a first baseman.
Those numbers change.
Greg Bird's coming back, so we don't need a first baseman.
Yeah, okay.
He's supposed to be next week. No, yeah, it's supposed to next week.
Start his rehab assignment or come back up?
No, come back. He's starting his rehab assignment tonight, I think.
Who are we going to send down? Oh, probably
Cooper.
Yeah.
Garrett Cooper.
Which is, you know what? His numbers are solid.
I know. I didn't understand. I know Uncle Scott was probably going classic Girardi here, but I didn't really understand. The guy went 3 for 4 one game, 2 for 3 another game, and then we continued facing lefties, and he still wasn't in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, he's an okay player. I could see how he could become, a good player to stash in AAA. He's got options. He's young, and I mean, he did hit 366 where he was playing in AAA for the Brewers. So, there's some pop in his bat.
Is it? My dad said this. I think he heard it on the K show. Is this Girardi's last year?
No, I think next year is his last year. But they just don't want him to be a lame duck manager, so they basically have to negotiate an extension with him or let him play out the year. I guess I don't know,
because they were talking about possible replacements, and you got like Cone, O'Neill, but which I wouldn't mind Cone. I don't think they won't do it though because they have kids that are coming up in the majors now, and they don't want that commitment. I don't know who is out there. It's not like football where you could think about coaches and coordinators and shit. You could easily pick out a next head coach. I don't know what other managers are out there, but
I don't see
we
how.
need someone else.
Listen, I know Girardi. I know Girardi gets on people's nerves.
This is Girardi's last year.
It is, yeah, okay.
Of his contract, really?
Yeah. He signed it in 2013, so 14, 15, 16, 17.
Wow.
4 years.
I think they'll leave it up to him, to be honest. I don't think he's done anything to get fired this year. I understand he could be an annoyance to watch because he's very by the book and he's very my roles and this guy does this and this guy does that. I understand all that. But I don't think he's done anything to get fired. If anything, he's taken a team that's about a year and a half ahead of schedule and made them a playoff team. So, I don't think there's any reason for him to be fired. If he says, I'm done, I want to spend time with my kids, I don't want to coach anymore, then listen, I think it's the same situation. No, Terry Collins definitely deserves to be let go after this year. But I was going to say it, just like Terry Collins, he just wants to walk away. You let him walk away, I think if you fire Girardi after this year, you have some serious egg on your face with the rest of the league because everybody regards the guy as a really, really good manager.
Yeah.
And based on what the Yankees have done this year, I mean, I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Well, it wouldn't be firing him; it would just be letting him go. If they mutually decide not to, have a contract. If Girardi's like, you know what, I want to go take a year off, spend time with my kids, do this, do that. You can't blame the guy.
No, and that's a completely different story than what I'm talking about. But I think with the young core that they are building, and at the end of the day, even if they don't win the division this year, which at this point I don't think they're going to, I don't think they're going to catch the Red Sox.
No.
But you still got to keep it in perspective that we really weren't supposed to do anything this year. The moves that bug me are the guy that's on the mound tonight, Jaime Garcia, because you're basically not letting Jordan Montgomery pitch anymore.
Jaime.
Which annoys me to no end. And we were just talking about him, but Todd Frazier, the guy hasn't really done much to help. And we did end up giving up, young players to bring him here so we can have this fantasy of competing for a championship.
See, but the Jaime Garcia trade kind of makes sense, hindsight is 2020 because Sabathia goes on the DL and now Tanaka's on the DL. So they're not going to bring up anybody from the minor leagues.
Well, that's stupid too because Chance Adams should have been given a shot to pitch before the trade deadline. He should have been given a shot.
When I think when they made the Garcia trade, I don't know if they had full confidence that they were going to get Gray too. So I think they wanted to get one arm, and then they were going to take the chance and deal with it if they got both.
Yeah, well, I can understand that, but I think you can always make a waiver claim. You can always pick up somebody's, spare salary off a waiver claim after the trade deadline. I don't think the Jaime Garcia deal was a necessary move, and I definitely don't think it makes them better. I think Montgomery's a better pitcher. He's got better numbers, and he's got more upside, and he's more a part of the future. So I don't know. It's only 1-1 right now. So when he gave up the run in the first inning, I'm going, oh god, here we fucking go again with Jaime Garcia.
You're also looking at it where they want to limit Montgomery's innings. Who's getting
well, that's the annoying part of baseball in general at this point.
These fucking innings limits because everybody's got to be babied.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big reason why Chance Adams isn't coming up as well, because they were basically saying he was running up against his innings limit, and there could be a possibility that they put him on the 40-man for September and have him pitch a little bit out of the bullpen, but I don't really see what that does for his development personally.
No.
He's not going to see a big moment. Yeah, he's not going to see a big moment because there are 100
guys for that.
Yeah, even when you expand the rosters, you bring up Jonathan Holder, you bring up Ben Heller, you bring up Giovanni Gallegos, Brian Mitchell, all those guys as well. So how is Chance Adams going to see any time to pitch unless it's a 10-run game, winning or losing?
I don't want to see him called up. I mean, at this point, they haven't called him up yet. I don't want to see him called up when they expand. Rather wait till next year. Like you said, I don't think he'll ever get the opportunity to really throw once the rosters get expanded.
Yeah.
I don't think we're out of the division race yet, just because of who Boston closes out with, how they close out with, 2 series with Houston within a couple of weeks of each other. But we have so many
games left with them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We have to survive August and get out of August less than 5 back.
Yeah, well, I think this next series in Fenway, we got to take 2 out of 3. No questions asked. Questions asked. We should have taken 2 out of 3 in this series that just passed.
Well, Gray is pitching Sunday. I'm sure we're scheduled to fucking see Sale again. It seems like every time we have a series against the Red Sox, we see him.
I think we get we are seeing Sale again. It's I think CC Saturday. CC comes off the DL Saturday.
It's great.
And poor Sonny Gray. He comes in. He faces Kluber his first game. He's been facing nothing but aces. I mean, he's been pitching. He's been pitching good.
Well, he did go opposite Montero on Monday night.
Yeah, finally. He got a break.
Montero kind of shut him down for a couple innings there, and it was pretty fucking aggravating because the guy's got like a 6 ERA. And even Gazelman was on the mound tonight, 6 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about –
other than Sanchez and Hicks, I guess, this lineup has been lacking a little bit of power lately. Power, average.
Oh, yeah. All around. I mean, clutch hitting. How about that? I mean, that series last week, I think it was with the Blue Jays. I mean, you get bases loaded, nobody out, you don't score a run.
Mm-hmm.
Second and third, nobody out, you don't score a run. First and second, nobody out, you don't score a run. First and third, you don't score a run. It's just, it's maddening to watch. It really is. When you're watching Marco Estrada, another guy with over 5 ERA this year, just shut you down with runners in scoring position. It's tough. It really is tough. It's not easy to watch. I almost dreaded turning on the television when they played Boston this weekend, just because this past week, because they're just not playing well, and Boston's playing so well right now. They're literally the last team that you want to see his face right now.
That's a rip. Nope.
The pitching matchups for the series this weekend, you have Drew Pomeranz against Montgomery on Friday, Sale against Sabathia on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so Montgomery is getting another start?
Yeah. And
Who's going Sunday?
I guess he's taking
Tanaka spot, maybe.
Maybe he's taking Tanaka's spot.
Who's going for Boston on Sunday?
Saturday is Sale. Sunday is Pfister against Gray.
That should be an easy win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should be.
Absolutely.
Sunday
And then
win, and
Sunday Night Baseball, we get fucking Chris Sale again, right?
No.
Saturday we get Sale.
Saturday against Sabathia?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a loss.
So we're looking for Montgomery to give us a win on Friday. That's the only way we win 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he pitched really well in his last start. They just only gave him 5 innings. Like, the fucking guy's arm is going to fall off if he pitches one more inning.
Mm-hmm.
It's so aggravating. It really is. I understand you want to protect a young pitcher, but you know what I don't understand about it? The guy has a squeaky clean injury history. So, if you had a guy coming off Tommy John and you want to limit his innings his first year back, I understand that. A guy that is known to have shoulder problems or forearm problems or something like that, you want to limit his innings, I understand it. But when a guy is healthy as a horse and you're still limiting his innings, like, you're only stunting his development.
I agree. Speaking of injuries, not to go off on another tangent, but please tell me you watched the video of Bryce Harper.
Oh yeah.
How is that only a bone bruise?
I don't know, man. I don't even know how it is a bone bruise, because it didn't look like, there was like, I just don't understand the physics of it being a bone bruise, considering there was like torque on his knee and his knee kind of twisted the other way. It's crazy, man. They did say it was.
Go ahead.
I thought for sure that was a couple torn ligaments. I thought
I thought it was a torn ACL.
A false report came out and said it was ACL and PCL. Well, it was a false report. A beat writer tweeted it out, probably just to get fucking views. And then it came out where it was just the bone bruise. But if it was the PCL, he wouldn't have been back until 2019. That's that Jimmy Graham, Victor Cruz injury. But he got lucky. And then you saw MLB come out and say that they're looking into different textures for the bases, especially on rainy days, because that's all it was. It was a slippery base, and he lunged, which I've seen every batter do constantly. Yeah, and he slipped off. But man, what a horrific video that was.
Definitely.
But Kennedy, one of my friends who's also in the Dynasty Baseball League, he sent me that video, and I was just like, oh, I couldn't. I just love being a baseball fan. I just love Bryce Harper because of the way he plays and how great of a talent he is. And if that would have been worse, it just would have been.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, would have been heartbreaking, especially because he's going into his last year next year, and if he would have torn a ligament, he's not going to be able to play the full year. So you don't know what that does to a contract situation. People start to get scared. Does he have a weak leg and this and that? But
it could be a recurring thing.
Exactly. Thankfully, it's nothing. Which anything helps his contract negotiations. Shows that he has strong legs. If you didn't tear a ligament on something like that, that shows a lot. He's had a little bit of a spotty injury career, but nothing major as far as I remember. Nothing that was several months.
What about the wave of injuries that the Nationals have just been hit with lately? You know, they just lost Bryce Harper, like we were talking about. I saw today they put Brian Goodwin on the DL as well. You know, Trey Turner was hurt earlier in the year. Adam Eaton was tore his ACL earlier in the year. Strasburg is just basically on and off the DL all the fucking time.
His whole career.
Yeah, it's crazy that people talk about the injuries that the Mets have dealt with, and there's been a lot. But I would argue that the Nationals have probably dealt with just as many.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as Harper goes, he'll be back for the playoffs. I believe Eaton will be healthy for the playoffs. Trey Turner is done for the season.
Mm-hmm.
But
wait, you think Eaton's going to be back this year?
What was his injury?
Oh no, he had a torn ACL. I don't think he's coming back.
What did he tear it?
I think so. Yeah, I believe so.
I think they need to rest. I mean, they're clearly going to win the NL East.
Yeah,
they need to rest whoever they can. I wouldn't throw Strasburg again. Maybe once before the playoffs.
But that's a fine line you're walking though, because you still need these guys
fresh.
Fresh, ready to play. You know
sure,
what I mean?
But you can't risk an injury when you're possibly going up against the Dodgers.
Well, no, you absolutely can't. But at the same time, you can't wrap these guys in bubble wrap and just wait till September. Wait till October, because if they don't play for a month, then they get rusty and they're just not good.
And on the other
injuries, they're just not good.
On the other side, you talk about the Dodgers, who, the Kershaw injury didn't seem to slow them down one fucking bit.
Nope.
I don't see how a team is going to come close to beating them. Maybe Boston if they meet in the World Series. But when you have someone, if Kershaw comes back, and then you have a 1-2 like Kershaw and Darvish with that lineup, that's silly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I just feel like the Dodgers become a different team in the playoffs. Like they almost just can't handle the pressure of October.
Well, they don't hit in October. We saw it a few years ago against the Mets.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you look at Kershaw. You're right. You can't not bet on them with Kershaw, Wood, Darvish, Maeda. They have a really deep pitching staff, a really deep bullpen, and they are, of course, at the record they're having, they're on pace for 115 wins. You can't bet against them, but like you said, they don't hit in the postseason. Their players don't hit at all in the postseason. Maybe it's a little bit different this year. You have Bellinger, who is, he's a rookie, yes, but maybe he stays hot. Maybe he gives that youthful energy to them, to the team, and to keep them going. But, you got to look at it. Yeah, that's just a scary Kershaw and Darvish. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah, and then you have Rich Hill, and you have Kenta Maeda. And you have Hyun-Jin Ryu, who's come back and pitched pretty well. Yeah, listen, they're a very, very deep team, no doubt about it. They're going to be a very, very tough out in the playoffs. I think if the Nationals are healthy, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs as well. Even I'm not counting out the Cubs yet either. I know they just lost Contreras. That really hurts. But really, you just walk the fucking pitcher.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, that'll fuck your train of thought up. No, real quick. I'm not counting the Cubs out. And as far as wild card teams, I don't really know what to make of much of the wild card teams in the West. Who are the top two teams right now? It's got to be like the Rockies and the Rockies and the Brewers right now.
Hold on, let me check that out.
I don't believe in the Brewers at all. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Wild card right now. The National League is the Diamondbacks and the Rockies.
Oh, wow. So the
Brewers are 4.5 back of both of them.
Wow. So the Cubs are leading the division at this moment.
Yeah.
And then you have the Dodgers obviously running away with the West. And the Nationals just leading the pack in the East. So
Yeah, the Dodgers at 84 and 34. It's safe to say
That's
they have
insane.
84 and 34. That's like the show. That's like my record in the show.
That's
Actually,
crazy.
I think
They're
it's better than that, to be
they're
honest with
18
you.
and a half
But
up on the
yeah.
Diamondbacks. 18 and a half up on the Diamondbacks. The Cubs have a 1-game lead, and the Nationals have a 13.5 game lead over the Marlins.
And the Diamondbacks aren't even bad.
No,
they're very good.
they're 66 and 53. That's a pretty good
That's
record.
insane.
Yeah.
That's terrible. 66 and 53. We're 18 games back.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's kind of like the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, it kind of is.
No, I mean, to have a decent analogy, maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't really put the Diamondbacks in the same category as the Spurs, but
No,
listen, the Dodgers and the Warriors. I mean, that's
That's a good
spot on at
comparison.
the moment.
That's a good
At the
comparison.
moment, fuck yeah.
if the Dodgers stay hot like this, they could challenge the 116 wins that the Mariners had.
I was just about to say. I was going to say I thought it was 118. 116 is the most wins in baseball history, right?
I think so. Yeah, that was the Mariners in
Yeah, that's how. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was the Oakland A's.
in 2000.
I was thinking of that stupid Billy Bean movie. How the fuck did that guy get a movie?
Terrible GM.
Just gives away Cespedes, gives away Donaldson, gives away fucking Addison Russell. Ugh, he's the worst.
The biggest sham about that movie is that everybody forgets that they had a stupid pitching staff that was not talked about at all in that movie. They had Zito and Mulder, Tim Hudson.
Yep.
Isringhausen was closed. Was Isringhausen closing?
Yeah. I think he was, yeah.
Billy Koch. I thought Billy Koch was the closer.
Or maybe it was Billy Koch, yeah.
Was it Billy Koch?
I think Isringhausen they let go the year before. Regardless, at that time, that pitching staff was the best in baseball.
Well,
what was the Braves?
What was that? 2000, 2001, 2002? Yeah, no, I think the Braves already broke up their pitching staff.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I would imagine it was them. I don't really remember what other pitching staffs were back then. What was the Yankees?
I think that was actually one of the years the Yankees had a really good pitching staff. They had like Clemens, Mussina, Pettit. Oh no, Pettit left in 2000.
Was Wells still here?
No, Pettit was still on.
He was?
Yes.
What was it, 2002?
2003.
Oh, okay. Because I know there was one year we had Clemens, Pettit, Mussina, El Duque, and David Wells. I know we had that rotation one year. It might have been 2002 before Clemens and Pettit both took off to Houston. Well, Clemens, quote unquote, retired and then decided to come out of retirement to pitch for Houston.
Yeah.
The Yankees pitchers that year, you had Clemens, Orlando Hernandez.
Yep, El Duque.
Look at this.
Although El Duque was kind of like just a
guy.
He was just like a nice story. Yeah, he was a nice story to bring back,
Let's see, you had Clemens. Yeah.
I know we re-signed David Wells at some point.
David Wells was not on the 0-1 team. Mussina, that was his first year.
Yep. That was our big free agent signing.
Andy Pettit was still there.
Yep.
That's 1, 2. They had brought back Sterling Hitchcock. Ted Lilly was on that team.
Ted Lilly.
Ted Lilly.
That big hanging curveball that he has.
Was he a prospect or Ted Lilly was a prospect, right?
In 0-1?
Yeah, he was a prospect at that time. He wasn't a pitcher. But we did he was our farmhand at that point, and then we brought him back in like, oh God, what was it, like 08, 09, something like that. We brought back Ted Lilly. But Ted Lilly was our prospect.
That's gone.
Who hit it?
Judge.
Seriously?
Fucking A.
I'm a little behind. I'm watching it on the iPad.
I'm watching it on my
I don't even know where it landed.
Holy shit.
Cespedes doesn't move.
There you go.
I don't
Judge
know where
Homer at
that
the center.
landed.
Well, like the
You
second-
can't hang a curveball to a guy that has an uppercut.
Judge, for the love of God, just don't strike out tonight, please. I'm so sick of this fucking strikeout streak he has going.
Fuck it,
I
let
think-
him strike out. If
I
he's
think
in
he
the-
struck out. I think he struck out his first at bat, didn't he?
No, he
Hey.
grounded out. He grounded
Okay.
out.
Listen, he can strike out every fucking game if he hits.
No.
If he gets on base, he takes his
He's
walks.
gotta just break up the fucking
Eh,
streak. I don't care how many times he strikes out. Holy mother of God. Cespedes didn't even turn around.
No.
Oh,
Cespedes did not even turn around.
and you know
Why
what?
would-
And you know what's great about it? He just puts his head down and runs to first base.
He doesn't pimp a home run whatsoever.
Nope.
Jesus H. Christ.
Oh Jesus!
That was a fucking
Let's see where it lands.
shot. I want to get a.
It looks like it's about 5 rows back on the third deck. You
Did
just
that
show the
fucking-
slow motion of it.
Did that break Statcast again?
They're showing it again. I think it's about 5 rows back on the top deck.
Oh yeah, that's top deck.
That's
That was
got to be
top deck.
490 at least.
And that's
Maybe even 5.
No, I don't think it's 5 yet.
No,
I
I don't know,
haven't-
man. City
I don't
Field's
know.
a pretty big goddamn ballpark.
It is.
I don't know. They're not showing. I have it on mute, so I don't know if they're talking about it, if they got distance or
I know.
anything.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm also probably like 2 or 3 pitches behind. Here it is again. Oof, he got all of that pitch. Jesus. That is like it's in the
That's
third.
more than 5 rows in the third. That is 1, 2. That's about.
That's almost in the second set
That's
of
about-
seating.
Yeah, it is. It is. They'll show it again. It is. It's right past the catwalk. It's the first row after the catwalk.
Holy shit! It's 358.
to the wall.
No, we'll say like 365 to that part of the ballpark. And
I don't
the lines out. They
Let's see if I
still
can-
haven't given a measurement.
No, I'm gonna check on Twitter. See if anybody has it.
Look at Tyler Wade. He's like, "Fuck, I wish I could do that." They really got to send him back to AAA, man. They're fucking killing him. He doesn't play, and when he does, he just looks unprepared.
Mm-hmm.
He's not ready to be a major leaguer.
Geez, by the 536. Section 536 in the upper deck is where it landed.
You're not supposed to get souvenirs up there.
No, you don't go to a
No.
game expecting to get the ball.
No, nobody got gloves up there.
No.
Uh,
You don't- gloves?
wow. He struck out. He struck out yesterday, right?
Yep,
So
33 consecutive games.
Oh, it's
that's
33.
Yeah, it broke Adam Dunn's record.
Adam Dunn's record in 2012.
That's why I don't want him to strike out tonight because I'm tired of fucking hearing it.
It was 117 miles per hour off the bat.
Oh.
Jesus.
Uh,
They're gonna start putting chips in balls to get the distance right away.
see, bullshit. Bullshit.
What did they
It was
say? 450.
457.
Fuck you. That was so much farther than 457. They just can't measure it right now. That was at least 480, 490. At least.
Yeah, double for Headley now. Nice.
Yeah, it's everyone's saying 457.
Sanchez
I don't
is having a rough
understand.
night.
I don't understand how they get that.
No, they're gonna wind up putting like chips in the balls just so they can measure these home runs.
I don't think so, man. I really don't.
It's a big,
Because you would imagine if you hit a ball that hard, it's going to break the fucking chip, right?
they had those chips in the hockey pucks, and they were shooting them at over 100 miles an hour. So
Really?
Yeah, but a hockey puck generally is stationary or it's coming from a different angle. It's not going against each other like a baseball and a bat, how they meet. It's more than just 117 miles per hour. The impact there is got to be equal to 250 miles per hour just because it's opposing forces.
I'm sure.
Yeah, no, he's right about that.
But I'm sure they have something that they have. I'm sure there is something.
Well, his fucking computer
I
ain't
don't know,
cutting it because that was not 457.
No, they shortchanged him a lot.
Yeah.
They definitely shortchanged him a lot. That was way longer than 457.
That's what she said.
Not that it really, not that it really fucking matters, but
No, it was a bomb.
It was only one run, so.
Shit, Howard, we got like, what, 5 weeks until you're married? Something like that.
what are you fucking sighing for? It's a little late. It's a little late to be
38. It's like 36 and a half now.
Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3.
Trying to figure out,
5 weeks.
Been a lot of...
5.5 weeks. 5.5 weeks till the wedding. We got, what, 2 weeks until 2.5 weeks until the draft. Big things coming up. I'm excited.
Draft.
Oh, Howard, did you hear about? I hope he's not listening because this would really fuck us up. But did you hear about the newest Brian fiasco from over the weekend?
What happened now?
This fucking guy.
As you know, both him and myself were attending Progress in New York, right?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Guess what?
What?
No mention of the brick. None. And the thing is, I was just gonna walk into the venue with it and hang it around his neck and be like, "This is your responsibility for the night." But instead, I said, "You know what? Let me see if he brings it up." So I saw him when I first got into the show. We bullshitted for a little bit. And the thing is, John and Ryan, the Struggles, they knew all about what I was doing. So they both looked at me when he walked away, and they were like, "Oh boy." So I see him again. Before the show was over at intermission. No mention of the brick. Finally, the show is over. We're standing outside. We're bullshitting. I'm like, "Hey man, see you at the draft party." And he goes, "Yeah, dude." Shakes my hand and walks away.
What the fuck?
No mention of the brick.
Well, okay. Howard, you need to have penalties squared away for this. This is ridiculous.
This is where I need some help, boys.
Well, I know the thing is, Anthony, are you
Jared?
guys...
Jared. This is what I propose. Okay. So we're what, 2 weeks away from the draft party? 3 weeks away from the draft party?
Yeah.
If he shows up to that draft party without the brick, he's losing an 8th round pick.
8th round?
Yes.
All right. What else?
Now, are you guys going to be sharing a ride?
Oh no, I'll probably walk there. It's like that close. It's like that close to my house. I mean, we got to figure out. That's the other thing. He hasn't really hit us up about plans for buying food or anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, me and John were talking about it. So we'll probably just end up taking the reins. Like, all right, so, when are we buying food? Because we're not going to show up to the party without food when you guys bought the fucking, the draft board and everything. Yeah. So as far as like getting the food to the bar, I guess that's the only thing that's really going to depend on whether we take a vehicle or not. Because I mean, pretty much for me, John, and Anthony, it's all within walking distance.
Because what I would like to do is, I want to have the brick there. But I don't want him to know it's there. I want everybody to sit down at, I'm assuming it's going to be like a big table or multiple tables or something. I want everybody to sit down and we're going to, give our little introduction. We'll do whatever penalty shots are needed, which he already owes 4 for the Dalvin Cook bullshit.
I think a lot of
people, for dropping and for picking up and dropping multiple players.
Hold on a second. There are a lot of people who are owed penalty shots. There are.
Okay, so then we'll do that first. But then right before we get into the draft, I'm bringing Michelle. I'm clearly who?
All 3. I think the 3 of us are owed penalty shots also.
For what?
Yeah, what am I owed penalty shots for?
Jared, first of all, for passing out at the draft party last year and
it was that Michael stuff was no joke.
Doesn't matter. You missed at least 3 picks and you passed out. So that's going to be a few penalty shots.
That's fine.
I think there's something for Anthony. I'm not sure. There might be something.
You have to dig pretty deep there, buddy. I don't think I have any penalty shots.
I can't bring up the file right now, but I will. But
that's fine. But so what I want to do is we'll do the penalty shots. We'll even get right up to where my dad is about to make the pick. I'm gonna have Michelle there. I'm probably even gonna wear my belt. I don't know if anybody else wants to bring their trophies. I'm gonna tell Tommy that he has to wear the Jermichael hat.
Yes.
So he has to wear that. But this was one of the major things that Brian has to wear at all league functions.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get right into it, and then we'll say, hey, Brian, where's the Rocca? And I just want to see what he says. I am dying to find out what he says. Then we'll assess whatever penalty he's going to be due. Then we could give him the brick back because I still want him wearing it for this whole day.
Of course. Here's my thing, right? I don't even want to bring it with me so I can get him in that much trouble because that's how annoyed I am that I still have the brick. I made the fucking playoffs. Why do I have the brick? You know?
Yeah.
But I have the fear that he's just – it's going to be stuck with me for another couple of months. You know what I mean?
We definitely got to get into the draft.
Well, listen to this. Well, since I'm coming in from Connecticut, I'll probably be in there a little earlier, of course.
Can you pick it up?
I'll pick up Anthony and because I'm probably going to drop off Kim to hang out with Jen for the day or whatever it is.
Well, no, I think Jen's coming.
Jen's coming? Oh,
yeah. Oh, isn't it? I thought like wives and girlfriends and everything were okay to come.
It never has been before, but I guess it is now.
Not for the
well, no,
no.
Yeah, no, I thought that was
next year when we go down to Ocean City.
But when we do draft stuff, there will be no wives.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh,
Anthony.
really? Oh, boy.
How fun.
Yeah, with Kim.
Well, I don't know. That's gonna be a bit rough too because they all hang out there on that weekend. So
have fun figuring that out.
But we have the back to ourselves, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, Aunt's sister might be there. People like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Christina. Christina might be there.
Okay.
Sounds like penalty shots to me.
Yeah, see, like I said, he's probably owed a penalty shot or so for thinking that he can bring his girlfriend.
Yeah. Good luck figuring that out. But we got to get the brick there. We got to play it off like no one knows anything.
Yeah, in my car, because I'll probably be parked like right outside.
Okay.
Or like if I have a book bag, I'll bring it in the book bag. If Brian's not there, we slip it somewhere else, not in my book bag.
Yeah. Either way, we'll get that on him before we start making any picks. Gerstein won't be there to start because he's coming from Pennsylvania because him and Robin have a wedding to go to. Todd will be there, however, and fucking co-owners. This is what co-owners are for. So we're not going to hold off. We're going to get started, on schedule like we had planned out.
Yeah.
And then midway through the draft, maybe after like the second round or something, we're going to talk about Ocean City next year and try and get that ironed out because that will not be all on the Rocca winner. That's going to be a league effort. Everybody's going to have a different thing that they're going to do because I think that'll be fun. I think that'll be a good time.
Yeah, and that'll be wives and girlfriends.
Yes, that's everybody.
But not during draft.
No, during the draft. Well, I'm going to handle that part. I'm going to find us a draft location, and that'll only be the league, while all the girls and wives can do whatever the fuck they want. They can go to the beach or something. The draft is only us.
Right.
Yeah. But
gotcha.
I can't wait. I got my big board all set.
Yeah, man. Been doing all my research and.
Howard, you still looking at the same guys for that first round pick?
Yeah. Still. I got a couple other people in mind also, but I'm those are the two I'm banking on.
That's good. These should be there. Or at least one of them should be there.
Unless I can make a move to get to a higher spot and pick somebody else, but I doubt it.
I don't know. If Gerstein makes that trade with Nick and gets the 107, he's going to try and flip it for something. I don't know. I have a deal with Rowe potentially. Well, I would be dealing the 106. So
Really?
that's a big deal. It's basically a first round pick and a subpar player for a first round pick and a subpar player. But if there's no one there at 106, then I'm going to try and trade out of it. But we'll see. Should be interesting. Oh, speaking of Rowe, she just texted me.
Who's picking between 5 and 9?
5 and 9. Let's see. I have 6. Tommy. Oh no, Nick has 7. He just got that in the Amari Cooper trade.
Right.
Dad has 8. And
Okay.
then
I have 9.
You have okay. There you go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And,
I'm excited.
And what's my second round pick?
I can find out. Hold on.
I don't know why I had a feeling I had like a high second round pick for some reason.
Let's see.
Hey, the Cardinals are up 4-0.
Yeah, I saw that. That's good.
4-1 now.
Let's see. In the second round, Anthony, you have the 201 is my dad, then Tommy, then my dad, then Joe, then Gerstein, and then I have back to back, and then Anthony, you have the 208.
Oh, that's not as good as I thought. All right.
You have the 208, and then your next pick after that is the 311.
And who has the 2-1?
2-1 is my father.
Scott?
Yeah.
Okay.
You looking to move up?
In that round, potentially, maybe that would probably be a draft day decision based on
Who's there?
who I'm looking to get.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm definitely set at the 5 with OJ Howard. That's pretty much the reason I made the moves that I did.
That's the only.
But
in talking with other people around the league, that was the only pick that we knew. I mean, everybody else. Generally, you could try and figure out like the first half of the first round at least.
Mm-hmm.
Your pick is the only one that we were pretty certain about. I mean, everybody knows who I'm taking at second. So we have
now they do, yeah.
Yeah, we have a mystery at 1. We have Joe Mixon at 2. Then who knows at 3 and 4, and then OJ Howard at 5. Other than that, I don't know how this first round is going to play out. It's going to be very, very interesting.
I mean, listen. If fucking like McCaffrey or Cook or somebody like that falls to 5, I may have to. I may have to reconsider some things.
Sure, and I'm sure people have been thinking about that. If that happens, but I think Fournette might fall to you because, like I mentioned, this foot injury.
I guess that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's then you that's a tough decision that you're going to have to make. I mean, do you take your guy who you've been aiming for since Pitta got hurt? Or or do you
But I did also just get Watson from you, so
sure.
That gives me a little bit of insurance.
Yeah. I don't think Ben Watson is OJ Howard, but I agree.
No, absolutely not. But he's at least a warm body to start.
Yeah. So maybe maybe the Mixon pick is the only one that's certain, unless he goes out and tears an ACL, knock on wood, in between now and our draft.
Well, but do you think that OJ would fall all the way to 9?
No way.
No, right? Yeah, that's
Listen,
the whole thing.
I have the 6th pick. I can tell you that he probably won't fall past that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
unless I trade it. But,
what do you make of the Lions wide receiver? That's
fucking Kenny Galladay.
Yeah,
I think people need to slow down. They're
really?
comparing him to Calvin Johnson. He's played one half of one preseason game against third stringers.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. Everybody needs to chill out. He was a 3rd round pick, I think, and he was basically on no one's radar before the draft. He came out of, I don't even know the school that he came out of, like Northern Illinois.
Yeah,
or
some
something.
weird.
Yeah, but
smaller school.
I mean, if he continues to do shit in preseason, I could see him sneaking into the first round, especially with the Mike Williams injury.
Mhm.
Maybe they flip flop spots, but I think people need to really relax as far as crowning this guy. I mean, he's still at best. I think he's still the fourth option there at wide receiver because you still have Marvin Jones, you still have Golden Tate, you still have Eric
Yeah.
Ebron. So, and then you still have decent pass catching running backs. Amir Abdullah, Theo Riddick are good out of the backfield. So
That's true.
yeah, Galladay could be good. I'm not. To me, on my big board, he's not in my first round.
So he hasn't like surpassed any of the other top wide receivers in your opinion?
It depends how you value injuries. It's so tough with dynasty leagues how you value injuries. For me, after the draft, Mike Williams was my first or second wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Now with this back injury, how far does he fall?
Right.
That's tough. I think John Ross is still better than Kenny Galladay. I think who else is out there? I think
the kid
Corey
from
Davis.
Tennessee.
I think Corey Davis. Corey Davis is better than Kenny Galladay.
Yeah.
And then so that's three wide receivers right there. Plus, I would take any of the three tight ends over him.
Yep.
OJ Howard, Njoku, Ingram. So that's six right there. Then you got the big four running backs. So that's already 10. And you're not even talking about any, second tier running backs or second tier wide receivers or second tier tight ends or quarterbacks. You're not talking about quarterbacks either. So he's definitely not in my top 10 just off the top of my head, let alone busting into the first round. But everybody values players differently.
Yeah, that's true.
So who knows? And I could be wrong.
I will say this for my own draft. I'm definitely going extremely position player heavy in this one. I'm going to get as many offensive players as I possibly can because I just don't need anything else on defense. I really don't.
So, your defense is solid.
Yeah, I felt like last year I took a few too many defensive players, even like late in the draft. I just felt like I was passing up a lot of offensive players when I should have been looking at them instead of more defense, which was I don't even think I ended up I didn't end up keeping Rankins. I still have Buckner. I kept him.
The thing with defense that's so tough, that's so much different than offense. It takes time for these defensive players to bust into the starting lineup and to make an immediate impact. But offense,
that's true.
You look at some of these offensive rookies. I mean, you look at any of the running backs, like Mixon. Maybe Mixon is a bad example because he still has two running backs ahead of him. But someone like Fournette, I think T.J. Yeldon and Chris Ivory are just bad at football. So Fournette, if he's healthy, could get some playing time. But like the best linebacker to be drafted in this class was probably Reuben Foster, and he's still behind Navarro Bowman, and Navarro Bowman is still all world.
That's right.
So he's not going to see that many snaps, and it's harder.
Keep talking up Navarro Bowman. The price might go up a little bit.
I don't need him. And then it's just so much harder for these defensive players to score points in fantasy right off the bat than it is for offense. I mean, you could throw out a rookie wide receiver and he'll get 6 points a game, but a rookie linebacker isn't going to get 6 tackles a game. I mean, you can't count on that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true. That is true.
Are we all done for today?
Yeah, I think so.
The fantasy league that Anthony's not a part of because he slept on it last year will be here on Tuesday. We're going to do a live draft. So, yeah, we're going to do a draft right here on the YouTube page. So, maybe.
And are you able to invite more people to the Google Hangout?
Yeah, I think you can do it for okay.
So everybody should have their laptop. I would send out a link to everybody in the draft. Granted, we're all probably going to be sitting in the same room anyway, except for you. But I think that'd be cool to have all of
Everybody in the league be at your house.
us. Well, Rufo's going to be drafting from work. Gerstein hates me, so he won't be here. But like Nick, my dad, OJ, Jay, a lot of them should be here. Yeah.
So,
Tommy will be here.
If they all have their laptops, I guess we could do it that way.
I'm getting my dad a new laptop. Well, I'm not getting him. I'm picking one out that he could buy himself. So he'll have a camera and everything ready to go too.
All right, good.
That'll be fun. I'll have Michelle waiting for me.
Oh. Awesome. All right.
Just saying.
I wish I could get the Jim Bowl trophy, but I'll never see that.
No, you're never gonna get that.
Unless I pick it up when I come in for our draft. If they bring it to Drew.
Dude, I don't even know what the plan is for that draft. To be honest with you.
Well, we're doing an online draft. We can't do a live draft now.
No, I know. There's just too many people in too many different places.
Yeah. So
you got a trophy from our league. If you don't want it, I'll take it.
I want it. It's proudly displayed in my Lego showcase there, surrounded by Legos. The Lego Strikes Back.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Next week, we'll be back talking more.
Trying to get Chris on, right? Next week?
Yeah, to talk to Woody Johnson stuff, him not being the owner of the Jets anymore. Giving it to his brother.
Yeah, probably some other schmuck that doesn't know shit about football.
See what happens.
Exactly.
Band-Aids and baby powder.
Fucking baby oil.
All right, guys.
All right. Join us
All right.
for a fantasy draft, a full-fledged fantasy draft on Yahoo. And we'll see you next week.
Awesome.
Peace.
See you guys.
Bye.